Hello gang, hello friends, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. We're moving on to a new character series. It's going to be Hello Kitty and I'm very excited. Thank you for being here with me today. My name's Jo, by the way. I said, by the way. Oh, Modern Family. Remember in the other video, the last video, I said that I'd purchased something. It arrived. I ordered the Dynamic Duo brushes. Well, they're two brushes. If you get them together, it's the Dynamic Duo from Ball Pit Nails. It comes with a little thank you card and a brush care card, and there was a little sticker in there as well. Never ever too old to appreciate a sticker. So if you are interested in getting these brushes, this isn't sponsored by the way, I just bought them myself, but I thought I'd tell you a little bit about them because I'm very excited. So this is Double Trouble, the other one is called Twice as Nice, and I'm going to read something that it says about them on the website. It says both brushes feature the same clean up blender brush. The liner brush ends are different lengths. Double Trouble, 12mm one, is Maddox's favourite, and for general use and 2D characters, whereas Twice as Nice, this one, the 6mm one, is intended specifically for 3D characters and portrait painting. Shorter bristles allow you to apply more pressure to the brush and efficiently feather out areas of gel that would otherwise be very challenging to blend with a traditional liner brush. So there you go. I got them both. I don't do 3D characters yet, but one day, who knows? I wanted to buy them. We're going to do an ombre with these two Madame Glam polishes. I wanted to buy them because if it wasn't for Maddox's quick nail art tutorials on her Instagram, I wouldn't have had the balls. I don't like that. It sounds like we need to be men to be brave. Wouldn't have had she gave me the boobs. She gave me the boobs to try characters, and I did her SpongeBob characters, and then I went on to do Simpsons characters, not from her. I don't think she's done those, or not that I've seen anyway. But I went on to do Simpsons, and now we're moving on to Hello Kitty. So it was a way of thanking her for, giving me the boobs to try characters. And I thought that was a good way to thank her, because I don't need more brushes. I've got brushes coming out of my brush hole. But I wanted them, and it was a nice way to thank her for bringing characters to me. So, right, are we ready? Rectangle. I didn't have the brushes at this point, which is why I'm not using them, but I do use them at the end. So we started with a rectangle, and then we're going to curve each side of it from one point to another, because you can just draw an oval. Well, you might be able to just draw an oval, me not so much. I need a frame. So we've done a rectangle and we're just going to curve each side. I think Ball Pit actually she does have a Hello Kitty tutorial, but I'm doing a pumpkin one, just from a picture I found on the interwebs, by just a picture of a bunch of Hello Kitties from Sanrio. So that is the credit for the inspo for this nail. I'm using brown, Madame Glam's brown gel paint here. I would rather have used white, but I figured you'd be able to see brown better. So, and I have wiped and buffed the nail to get rid of any light line glare, so you can see better as well. We're adding two little curves that come to a point for ears, either side of our oval at the top. And then between the ears, we're going to do another curve just like that. It's going to look messy, but it'll be fine. And then above that, we'll do bring two curves to a point. And then at the top of that point, we've just done another little curve. And now we're going to do a flagpole, two straight lines and a triangle. There we go. And then bang smack in the middle of her ear, well, at the bottom, but centered, we've got a circle, and then we're going to, this is the bow, so we're going to do triangles either side, but they're soft edged triangles. They're not pointy. It's a nice sort of soft puffy bow, isn't it? So there we go. Everything's overlapping, looks a mess. Don't worry about it. But I would recommend doing this in white. So I'm using the clean up end of the double trouble brush. Oh Lord, as if ombre brush wasn't difficult enough. To wipe away some of the join lines. It looks like it's stained a bit. It's just because I've buffed the surface of the nail so there's not glare. And then we've done a sort of straight curve a bit further down, and then marking out there from between the middle of her ears down. That's where I'm going to come out from her head to join that sort of curved straight line in another curve, but sort of straight as well. No, it's definitely a curve. And then we're putting a little arm here. So we've come out a little bit and then straight up to the head. And then 2 humps for her paw, hand, palm, fingers. And then on this side, on the right side, we're coming out again. And that part of the cuff, that line just there, goes into the face a little bit. And then down to her, air quotes, neck. And then again, we've got a little C for her thumb. And then a big curve for the rest of her paw. And then in the middle, little straight line. And then here we're going to do a line across, but not all the way to the side. That's not straight at all, but that's okay. And then we're going to curve from let's say she's wearing a jumper and some trousers. From the jumper to the bottom of the trousers, we're going to curve that out. And now what are we going to do? What are we doing now? Oh, we're just widening her jumper. So when I come to fill in, I'll bring the arms, so I'll bring that out a bit and her paw out a bit because I've widened the top. Okay, cure. Difficult part's over. Wasn't very difficult. Definitely recommend trying this if characters are a bit scary, because it was all just a lot of curves. But then everything, is it not just a lot of curves, and either a curve or a straight line or a wiggle? But that doesn't necessarily make everything easy. But this one I would definitely recommend if you want to try a character. So I'm going to use, instead of using white gel paint here, I'm using the Madame Glam white, perfect white, to fill her in, because it covers fudging perfectly and I don't have to use up my gel paint. So there you go, because you get less gel paint than you do in a bottle of polish. So I'm being stingy, but it's covered really well. So see here, I'm just making that paw a bit bigger, going over the outline where I brought the top out. There we go. I'm only doing 1 coat of the white. I'll probably use that from now on for colour blocking whites instead of gel paint. And we're curing that, and we're taking the orange gel paint and we're going to do her top and her sleeves. I feel like there was something I was supposed to say and I can't remember. There's a good chance. What's the time? Yeah, this is going to be Wednesdays, Character Wednesdays, but on Thursdays, which might be the case sometimes. Because sometimes, you know, when the sun's out, you have to make the most of it. So I did that the other day and it just set everything back a day. And I've been watching tennis. So I'm kind of on New York time, which isn't very good when you don't live in New York, when you live 5 hours ahead. So everything's a bit out of sync because I'm trying to stay up watching matches that are still going on at like 5, 6 in the morning. I have fallen asleep a lot though to tennis. Not a bad way to fall asleep, is it? The sound of men grunting. Right, we have cured the top and we are taking the green gel paint. I didn't mix, I do some mixing later, but I didn't mix any colours for the main colours we're using here, which was quite nice, less faffy. Not that I don't enjoy a good faff every now and then. We like to faff like a fucking champion. I didn't have enough air in me for that one. But we're not faffing here yet. We will faff. There's always room for some faffage. I don't know why I didn't speed this colouring in bit up. This bit is really fun though, colour blocking. It's just fun because it's easy but pleasurable. There's a joke there. Is there. It's low-hanging fruit, ripe for the picking. Yes, this bit is nice because you've got the drawing the initial outline, the sketch on there, and then you know you've got the outlining coming up, which can be a little bit tense. So this is the fun in between that, where you have no worries. Tra-la-la-la-la. Right, come the fuck on, Bridget. Okay, so we've cured that, and now we're taking red gel paint. Come on, Rublev. Nice, nice. Yes. And we're going to fill in the bow. Yep. See, I was worried then that I was distracted by the tennis and I'd be behind, but we're just colouring in, so there's not really much. When I was speaking to Rosie the other day, I said, "Do you want to voice over a video for me?" She said, "Okay." And we got to like colouring in a bit. And she said, "So we're going to do, for example, we're going to do this bit in white." And she was like, "What do I say now?" I was like, "I know. You have to find something to talk about." Luckily, that's never really a problem for me. That voiceover did get vetoed though, because she lost interest very quickly, because she's 11 and TikTok, which I don't approve of at her age, but there you go. We're still filling in the red bow very carefully. I don't know why I didn't do the orange and green hat at this point, but I remember being glad that I didn't once I got to it. I can't remember why, so I doubt there were logical reasons. Maybe just to get the bow the shape I want and then work up to the bow, as opposed to, you know, in case I needed to edit the bow a bit, I think maybe. So orange in the top part of her hat, and then in the little bit that looks like a little sort of golf course on top with the flag. Do they have flags on the end of those poles? I'm trying to picture it. Do they? Is this like a Mandela effect kind of thing? I just presume they have holes. Flags, no, yes, but they don't. Don't know. And then the top part, the green and the pole and the flag, is all in green. Okay, carefully, careful. Oh, I wanted to make this a bit softer, where the green met the orange, as opposed to sort of harsh, straight, you know, sharp. And the flag, which now doesn't look like a flagpole. It's the root of a pumpkin. Okay, now the yellow. Some days I do have trouble thinking of what to say in these moments. I think I'm having one of those days. We're going to do a little yellow oval on its side. There we go. And then with a black dotting tool, no, any dotting tool, black polish, I've drawn sort of straight lines with the dotting tool, and because the dotting tool is a ball, you kind of get a curve at the top of the top and the bottom. But I did faff around with them a little bit after doing that. That was just to get the initial shape. I think that took me maybe 2 or 3 goes to get the eyes, and they're quite far apart. It was the spacing, and then to the side of the nose, but up a bit, but not above the nose, that sort of thing. And now we're going to do a semicircle, and for a smiley face, and 2 little V's that are pointy at the top, but I wanted the sides of them, like the feet of these V's, upside down V's, to be like flat, straight lines. She's got a happy pumpkin because she's Hello Kitty. It's going to have to be cute. Although a Hello Kitty with like blood everywhere, guts and shit, that would be quite cool. Maybe we'll do that. And then curing all the time as I go. And now we have the brushes. Yippee! So we're going to outline everything. This is the Double Trouble. Very first thing I noticed about this brush, well, first thing I noticed was that they're just really gorgeous and just feel nice and look nice, and I felt a bit fancy pants owning them. But the first thing was that it's very flexible. It's more flexible than the Ultra Liner, which from Mellow Glam, which has been my go-to brush for a while now. Even doing small details, I've been using longer brushes. But this one's a lot more flexible. So I think it's going to be really, really, really good for doing super thin lines because you don't have to put as much pressure on it. Oh, just pointing out that the curve on the side of her jumper goes into the orange a bit. You see where her arm comes out, the sleeve. So that curve does go into the orange. Where was I? Where were we going? Where were we? We were here, even though I just opened the window and it smells like France outside. Although France isn't that very far away. So I don't have ADHD. I just get nervous energy doing voiceovers, okay? It's all fine. I'm using the cleanup brush here, the cleanup end. Yes, you can curve the brush with less pressure, therefore thinner lines, because normally the amount of pressure you'd need to apply to bend the brush, bend, not curve, to bend the brush would make the line thicker because you're applying more pressure. So obviously you can make thicker lines by applying more pressure, but this lets you sort of bend and curve without putting a lot of pressure down. So really good for thin lines. A couple of these I had to go over the line a couple of times because it was too thin. I know, amazing. That's not a bad thing, but it was just getting used to the different pressure needed for different movements you're making. You know, when you get a new car and the clutch is different, it needs you know, a firmer press or a lighter press, or it, you know, the what's it called, the bit where it I mean, that's not the noise you want it to make, the biting point, there we go. It's different. Stop talking about cars. I'm saying I'll have to get used to the brush and the different pressure needed for different things, but I think I'm very excited to get used to it because I think this is going to be it's already in my go-to brush pot. So that's what I think of this. After one use, it's definitely a go-to. Nice thin lines, nice and crisp. Clean up brush on the end. I'll use the little one, even if I'm not trying 3D characters yet. I'm sure I will use it. Right, in between, so either side of the circle on the bow, there's a little U shape, which is for the folds in the bow. And there's nothing, you know, when we did the Simpsons and we drew all their details on their faces and then we painted over it and had to add it on. There's none of that apart from the eyes and the nose. And this paw here, so that's kind of like a hook for the top bit. It went sort of up in a U shape at the end, and then a little C on the side, just for the little bump of the thumb. Did what I say just make sense? You know, with the Simpsons, we drew all like the ears and the lashes and nose and things, and then we had to go over them again with the outline because we'd coloured over them. There wasn't really any of that on this apart from the eyes and the nose. Right, the whiskers. The first one there was at about, if that eye was a clock, it was at about 5 o'clock. And then the top one is about 9 o'clock, and it sort of comes out straight but tilts down a little bit. Clean it up. And then the middle whisker was shorter, so it didn't come into the face as much, and it didn't come out of the face as much. So it didn't start into the face as far as the one above and below had. Yes. Okay. And now the nose, which I thought would be really difficult because it was so small, but it wasn't, with this brush. Oh, it's so nice and thin. I love it. I think, obviously, because it's thin, it's more flexible. It's as close as you can get to wanting a brush that's one hair thick. Oh, and look, even the cleanup brush got inside that tiny area. Because one hair would just, it wouldn't work because the gel polish would be too heavy, I think. I think these bristles are just the perfect amount of bristles. So these bits here are what makes it super cute. We've come down as if we've done a curved line through the whole of the jumper, but there's a gap in the middle of it, either side. So coming out from the neck and then a gap and then down to the trousers, a little line up from the center of the trousers. And then we'll add a couple of curved lines on the hat as well. Cute! And then I'm going to do a whole bunch of pumpkins everywhere just by sort of doing humps, two humps at the bottom, 2 humps at the top, fill them in, and then we'll add green. I hadn't planned to put pumpkins everywhere, but this nail tip was a lot longer than it is here. I've cut some off. It was the same length as the ones from that blue video recently, the sort of cosmic Eve sun moon thing, but I wanted it shorter, and then I ended up doing her a bit smaller than I should have. I think I could have made her quite a bit bigger. So now she was just kind of lost in space, lost in nail space, just floating around in nail space. So I wanted to put shit in places. So pumpkins, we are using the double trouble brush to outline. And then I thought I was done. I was quite happy with it. She looked cute. Pumpkins aren't perfect, but it's fine. I was watching tennis, didn't really care. It's amazing how little I care about anything else going on in the world when I'm watching tennis. So I thought I was done, and I top coated, which you'll see now. Some more skillful editing there. So you could leave it like this. Adorable. She looks cute. I'm happy with it. Or you could go to sleep, wake up, sit in the garden and sunbathe whilst editing this video, have dinner, go back upstairs and decide to buff it and start faffing. And naturally, that was the path I chose. So I'm now taking the Born Pretty BPCA06. It's a black jelly. Highly recommend. It's amazing. I love it. I'm using it for all the shadows and things on these characters we're doing. So I've buffed her now. And I've mixed it with the orange. Probably didn't need to. Probably could have used just the black. Oh yeah, you can get money off at Born Pretty. Yeah, do it. But I mixed it with the orange. And I'm going either side of the black lines. I probably shouldn't have done that. I wasn't paying any attention to where shadows and highlights might have been. But I was just feeling faffy. So I'm going to add some more there, and then I'll add some on the surrounding pumpkins, and then we'll just mix the black jelly with the green, and separately with the red, and separately with the yellow, and we'll add more shadowy bits. I just felt like she needed a bit of a glow up. Did I give her a glow up? I'll let you decide. But it adds a little something, a little summer. So I'm going along the bottom of her, or the top of her trousers, and then down the middle, I don't know, shadow in between the legs, why not? And then down the right side of her golf course, and the right side of each of the green bits, little green sort of ticks all over. I've mixed it with the yellow, and we're going to do a teeny tiny bit inside at the bottom of her nose. The shading on the bow here, I've decided to go along the bottom of it, and then we'll do the highlights at the top. Makes no sense, don't really care. And to the right side of the circle. And now we can mix white with everything and do the highlights, which are always my favourite bit. So we'll do a bit at the top on the inside of the nose, down the jumper, and down. I'm kind of going over some bits where I've done shadows, but that's fine. I was just making it up. They make no sense. But it's okay, because it just looks a bit more, I don't know. So we're using the white mixed with each of the colours that we're painting on, and just going to the left of everything for the highlights, apart from the bow, which we've done top to bottom, as opposed to left and right for these bits and bobs. Never mind, it's fine. I'm taking just the black jelly now, so you can see why I probably could have used just that for the bits on the orange, and I'm going all the way under her head, just to create a kind of shadow where her head would create one. And then, I don't know why I did this, added a little bit to the sides of the ears, on both sides. And anywhere else, oh, a tiny bit on the cuff, and then the tiniest bit under her nose. I don't know whether you can even see it, but it's there. And then we'll top her again, and that's how I fucked Marge up, by adding more stuff on top. But where you've got the top coat in between each time I decided to make changes, you kind of, it looks like you're looking in a pool and everything's on different layers. But this has just got the one sort of add-on. So that's her. I hope you like her. What do you think? I'll show you a picture of the picture I was copying, and we'll do a few more of her, maybe some spooky ones because Halloween's coming. I'll show you both of them next to each other. You can pause it if you like, just to see the difference between non-faffing and faffing. Which one? Let me know which one you think is the best in the comments. Should I have faffed? To faff or not to faff? Always to faff. That's the picture I was copying. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I love to hear from you, and I do read them all. I appreciate you guys being here so much. Go check out those ball pit brushes. I'm really impressed with them. I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye. Bye.